Hello and welcome to Japanese Observer. I am George Trombley, and today we are going to talk about, for those of you that are using our books or using our online course, I'm just going to review what this lesson is on pronunciation, which by the way in Japanese is hatsuon. Hatsuon. Okay? Hatsuon means pronunciation, and the good news about Japanese is Japanese pronunciation is so easy. It's really, really easy compared to Chinese, which I am studying, and compared to Korean, which totally kicked my butt initially. But Japanese, based off of 5 sounds. There's only 5 sounds in Japanese. It's pretty crazy. Let's look at the first set. I say first set, but I just said there's only 5. These are literally the sounds that Japanese is made up. I feel like my hair is in my face. Yeah, it looks good. I look pretty good, Trombley. That's my last name, by the way. All right. Here's the sounds. A, I, U, E, O. Repeat after the bell. Bing! A, I, U, E, O. A, I, U, E, O. Now, I know it's a little bit weird because it says A, I, U, E, O. That's a little bit weird, right? But trust me, anytime you see an A, it's pronounced A, only A. Anytime you see an I, it's pronounced E. And every time you see an E, it's pronounced E. So A, I, U, E, O is how it's pronounced. Always. It's not hard to get used to. You'll get used to it. And the good news is that's all you got to learn. Because every other sound in Japanese, and there's only like 105. Imagine that. The entire language only has like 105 sounds. So when you see K's in front of things, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. So easy. It's so easy. Okay? What about, okay, this is a little bit, it's a little bit of trick. A little bit tricky here. I like to trick you guys a little bit. What if I put, instead of K's, I put P's? Pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Done. Done. Those are basically it. There are 105 total, so you're going to have sa, shi, su, se, so. You're going to have da, di, du, de, do, ta, chi, tsu, te, to. But that's all there is to it. Now, in the first lesson coming up, we're not there yet. We're still in the pre-lessons. This is pre-lesson A, where we're learning how to say things. But this lesson, we're not learning how to read yet. We're just understanding some concepts in Japanese. So let's look at this. What is this? This T-O sound, right? Now, if you're paying attention, were you paying? Dude, get off your phone. Oh, I'm trying to teach you something. Come on, man. Come on, get off your phone for just a second. I can't even believe that they would let you have the phone where you are right now. Where are you? I don't know. But anyway, T-O, your entire life, no matter how young you are, has been, or how old you are, has been 2. T-O is 2. I'm going to school. So when you see T-O, you're going to think, oh, okay, it's 2. But it's not. In Japanese, it's to. So you're going to have to fight over, years of learning that T-O is not 2, it's going to be to. So why don't you just erase it? Why don't you learn the hiragana for it? And I'm just trying to convince you that you need to learn hiragana, but I'm pretty sure you guys already have decided you're going to learn it, okay, if you're using this book series, because we teach it progressively, okay? But this is the symbol for to. So you don't have to fight your brain's instinct to say 2. So learning hiragana will 100% increase your pronunciation skill, all right? So we'll learn more about that in lesson 1, though. All right, let's look at what you have to know to learn Japanese. What are the writing systems? There are 3. There's 4. If you count what they call romaji. Romaji, we're not going to talk about that right now, except for to say that that is this. That's when T-O represents to. This is romaji. You already know romaji, you just don't know some of the things about romaji. We'll learn a little bit about it today. All right. The first system that the Japanese children in Japan learn is hiragana. Hiragana doesn't mean anything. Well, it does mean something, but it's not important to know it. But this is a phonetic system. That means that it's just sounds. Each of the characters don't have meaning to them, okay? So it's ra, ga, na. Hiragana. That's all you need to know, okay? All Japanese words can be written in hiragana. And all children first learn hiragana, and all books If you see, there's even some comic books back here, but these comic books will be written, if they're for very, very young children, they'll be written in hiragana. And even if they have the more complicated script, which we're going to learn about in a second, they'll have hiragana on top of that to help them read it. There's about 105 combinations that you can use to make these. There's only like 46 standard hiragana, which you can learn very quickly, okay? Matter of fact, we're going to learn it in just 9 lessons in this book, or in this course that you're on. All right, the next one is katakana. Now, katakana is a special system that has all of the sounds that hiragana has and a little bit more, because it's used for foreign origin words, like my name. My name is George, but you can't write George in Japanese, so they write it in katakana to say, hey, this is not a Japanese word. So my name in katakana is Joji, okay? And your name, if you're not from Japan and you weren't given a name from Japan, your name will be written in katakana. Your country name, unless you're Chinese, unless you're Korean, most countries do not have a kanji for their name. They are just kanji, by the way. Sorry, let me explain what that is. Kanji is Chinese characters, okay? That is that when Japan, a long time ago, way back, before they had any written language, they had a language called, I think it was called Wago, okay? Wago was the Japanese language before it was the Japanese language. And then they needed a writing system. They didn't have a writing system, so Chinese got introduced into Japan, and that's what that is. These Chinese characters are those characters. More about that later, okay? But those are the really complicated looking ones, okay? All right, so anything that is outside of Japan, katakana. Like even like bottle. Bottle, they have a word for bottle in Japanese, it's bin, but they wouldn't say bin for a plastic bottle, they would say botoru. And that word comes from English. So therefore, that borrowed word from English would be written in katakana. But the water inside of it, which is mizu, can be written in hiragana and kanji because it has a special Chinese character for it. All right. Now let's talk about how we're going to accomplish learning hiragana in the first 9 lessons. We're going to use a progressive system where we will learn 5 characters in the first lesson. A, I, U, E, O are the only letters you're going to learn at the end of lesson 1, after you've learned some easy sentence structure, okay? Then, this word, which right now is written all 100% in Romaji, Romanization, okay? Literally Rome letters, okay? In the alphabet, it's okasan, okasan. Okasan means mother, okay? But when we have learned a, I, U, E, O, it will look like this in the next lesson. O-ka-a-san, okay? O-ka-a-san. All right, I think I have the exact same slide. No, I do not. It is a little bit different. After the next 2 lessons, it will look like this. Oka-san. Only the end part, which we learned at the very end for some reason. Probably could put that up front, but I didn't because we're learning in the order of Japanese people. All right, so that's what we're going to do. And after 9 or 10 lessons, you will literally know all of the hiragana. And then we'll repeat it in course 2 with katakana, and in course 3 we start learning kanji the exact same way. All right, now let's talk about 2 things, the last 2 things you have to worry about when you learn Japanese, and that is double vowels. So Japanese has a way, what's a vowel? Oh, did someone, come on man, Jeff, you didn't know what a vowel, you know what, we all come from different parts in our life. Maybe you didn't know what a vowel was. A vowel is an A, an I, a U, an E, or a O, and in English, I guess it can be a Y, but that doesn't matter. In Japanese, that Y never counts. Okay, so if you have a double vowel, for example, in that word we just did, okasan, there is an A, which is doubled, right? All that means is we lengthen the sound. Okasan, okasan, that means mother. If you didn't say the double sound in Japanese, okasan, that means Mr. Oka. You might say to somebody, hey, is Oka-san here? And they go, no. And they're, what? But she's right there. No, that's Oka-san, not Oka-san. All right? So it's very important that you lengthen when you have to. And the way that they lengthen is with that double vowel. If you say it wrong, you might say something different. It's not like the movies where like you dishonor someone's family because... I had a urge to drink right now. It's not like the movies where you can just like upset somebody and be like, why would you say that about my mother? It's not like Chinese, I don't know, actually I don't know enough Chinese to say this, but they always give this crazy example when you learn Chinese where one thing means pig and the other one means mother, and it's like, what? Did you call my mother a pig? That doesn't happen in Japanese. You're just gonna say Mr. Oka instead of Okasan. Alright, or Mrs. Oka, theoretically. What if your mother's last name is Oka? Well, then you're in luck. Maybe you can get away with not lengthening it. Alright, let's go to another one. Iie, iie. This means no in Japanese. Iie, iie. But if I shortened it and I didn't have that double sound, it would be ie, ie. And that means house. So that would be awkward. You say, hey, do you want to eat ice cream? House. 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 No, you gotta lengthen it. Ie. Alright. Oji-san. Oji-san. Now this has two meanings. It can mean old man, like an older man, fairly older man, or it can be your grandfather. That's okay, right? Like they both mean the same thing, even when they're both long. Oji-san means grandfather, and it means an older man. But if you shorten it, Oji-san, it means uncle or a not so older man, but just like a kind of an uncle style age, right? So let's say you're talking to a guy and you say, oh, look at that man over there. You can literally just say, Oji-san. There's an Oji-san over there. You know, it's not a bad thing. But if you said there's an Oji-san over there and you lengthen it when you shouldn't, you just called him an old man and he might bust out his samurai sword. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. Oh, I feel sick inside. Because they don't have samurai swords in Japan like that. They do have samurai swords, but they're not walking around with them on the street. All right. Final thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to go so long. Gosh, you guys. All right. Double consonants. So we had double vowels, which is like ah, e, u, e, o. Now there's double consonants, and it can be some of these, but there's even more. But it can be like a double T or a double K or a double B. And when you have this, you have to say it properly. So let's look at it. For example, there's a city in Japan called Beppu. It's not Beppu. It's Beppu. And the way this works is there's a little pause, like a little blank spot right before the P sound in this word. It's Beppu. Beppu. Okay, not Beppu. Beppu, by the way, has amazing hot springs. Like, it's super famous for hot springs. And they have you can go and get buried in sand by an old lady. They have this old ladies will bury you in like hot sand that's heated up by the volcanic water. I don't know. There's like some way that, I don't know. But you can get buried in sand. It's pretty sweet. You can also do a mud bath. Which I've never done. But the sand bath, that was so awesome. And when you eat ice cream after the sand bath, amazing. All right, so it's beppu, right? Let's look at another one. This is a little bit of a complicated word. Pukka, pukka, ka, right? A little pause and a slight up sound, like a little bit stronger sound. Pukka. Pukka means the cost of living. I know if you're young you don't know what that means, but for example, bread and how much it costs to have a house and clothing, that's the cost of living. So for example, America has a fairly high cost of living, but not as high as, for example, England, and not as low as, for example, Korea. So it costs more money to live in a country that has a high pukka. But if you didn't say the double sound, now you're saying a subordinate. That means someone that's lower than you. Buka. Like one of my staff is my buka. Alright? So buka versus buka is a different sound. So you have to be careful. And I think I have one more. This is a good one. This is like a coffee shop. Kissaten. Kissa for short. Kissaten. 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 Right? So the sa is important. Kissa, don't know. Kissa, oh, I looked it up. It was something weird. Give me a second. I'm going to look it up again. There is a great dictionary that I want to recommend to you while we're doing this. It's jisho.org. JISHO.org. And we're going to look up what kisa. The 10 part means store, so let's just look up what kisa means. It meant something really weird. It means blood clam. So if you said kisaten, Now they're going to understand you because that word is very common. But if you said kisa when you meant to say kisa, kisa, well, you're saying blood clam. Whatever that is, I have no idea. All right, that is it. That is the lesson on pronunciation. Please read through the lesson. And in the very next lesson, we'll talk about numbers. And then right after that, we're going to do a lesson called coming and going. And then after that, we're going to finally get to learning grammar, which is the best thing you can do to get good at Japanese. All right, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.